days like this, it has amounted to 3 points for Arsenal, and they sit top of the table, 19 points after 20 after 8 games, possible 24 points, and they're looking stronger and stronger. One thing the last thing I want to mention is the mentality and the composure of this team, starting from their manager Arteta, who normally people are criticizing for being overly emotional and reactionary on the line, but you can see some steadiness of emotion on Arteta.
Watch Tranzeet TV right now.
Transit Sports TV, Arsenal traveled to Fulham, and it ended Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. If you know anything between these two teams, Fulham have been a good team for Arsenal the last 3 seasons, and they have had a say somewhat how when Arsenal have lost their rhythm in their quest to win the league the past 3 seasons. The last 3 meetings at Fulham, Arsenal has not managed to win. I think they've lost 2 and drawn 1 at Fulham Stadium. And talking about the forms of these two clubs, these two teams going into this fixture, Fulham, the last 4 games, lost the last 2 and won the 2 before. Arsenal have been on the winning streak, making it now 5 wins in 5 in all competition. What more can any fan ask? And we're going to try to make sense of this one, what things that we learned from this game, talking about the form, like I have said, how Fulham approached the game, what their thinking was, the pattern that Silva deployed in this game. Arsenal, what we learned from Arsenal as well, talking about their own strategy going into the game, things that we learned with regards to the impact of Gyökeres, good or bad. We're going to talk about that, and the defensive defiance of Arsenal as well. And a few more things that I want you to stay hooked. And let's talk about this game. Let's break it down. And don't forget to like and share this one. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe as well. Let's continue to build this channel. It's growing. You guys are doing with all your support. It's been growing and growing. Like I said, Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. This one ended with Arsenal having a 1.88 SG as against Fulham's 0.44. You can see the huge gap there in expected goals as well. There was a 63% possession for Arsenal, and Fulham had just 37. That tells you how this game panned out. But again, in football, there are things, decisions, or approaches that determine what happens in a game of football. And looking at this one, it's very obvious that Silva came into this one because in football, when you are struggling with form, the first thing you do is try to grow confidence. And how do you get confidence? By trying to stop losing games, even if it's just a draw. So it was very obvious that he believed from the way he approached this game that Arsenal were very superior to Fulham. Though he has always been like that, he has always tried to play this way against Arsenal, has managed to get results. But this time, it looked very, very... Fulham didn't look confident in any way, but the way they approached this game, being very, very deep, playing very deep, from playing on a counter, low blocks. But the bad thing about this approach is there's nothing. It's not new, and it's not a bad thing to do when you are playing against a team you feel that is very, very strong compared to where you are, or are on a streak of winning games, and you are struggling with confidence or cannot win games. What you do is try to stay strong, stay compact, and not allow them to score the goal. And that's what Fulham did. But the wrong thing and the bad thing about that approach was they lacked pace going forward. Fulham could not, even when they get away, they didn't have that pace. They tried to use James, but it wasn't enough to worry Arsenal on counters. And Arsenal has become more intelligent and smarter when it comes to when they are on the front foot. Talking about defensive defiance of Arsenal, the positioning of the team right now when they are on the front foot is making it very difficult for teams to even catch them on the counter. And this made it difficult, or may prove that the approach that Fulham adopted in this game was very wrong, because Fulham was playing deep and they tried to break on counters. But Arsenal with with Calafiori giving the license to be all over the pitch, to invert, to overlap, to underlap, and even go into the midfield, leaving during Timber, Saliba, and Gabriel the responsibility of protecting that Arsenal defense on counters. And these are three solid defenders, very smart and intelligent at the same time. Gabriel and Saliba are not, they're not the fastest of you can get, but they are not in any way slow when it comes to pace. So this made it very, very difficult for Fulham to get anything from this game. And going into this game, like I said, Fulham has been a pain in the butt for Arsenal in the past few seasons. So you could see that when Arsenal started this game, especially Gabriel had some shaky start, and you could feel it. Arsenal didn't look, they were not frightened, but you could see that it was obvious that there was something at the back of their mind. And once they got it out of them, they became themselves and exactly themselves on Fulham. So that shaky start, and if in past seasons, you remember the first few minutes of this game, Fulham had a chance. Wilson had one. It wasn't very clear, but he could make something out of it. And once Arsenal survived all those initial onslaughts, it was just always going to be a one-way traffic. And we're going to talk about the impact Gyökeres. If you have been watching my videos, one of the things I criticize Arsenal and Arteta about is the lack of swiftness in terms of transition and attacking, and we not giving teams the luxury, the opportunity to have that low block and be very close to their box. So now, with the distraction of Gyökeres, the emphasis on Saka has reduced. And now Arsenal have also developed that ability. I know I've been saying that too, but I couldn't figure out how they need to do it. But I always used to complain that with the difference between Arsenal and Manchester United, especially under Sir Alex those years, is that they have a way of using the length and breadth of the pitch. If Arsenal can adopt that, it gives play, it reduces the amount of times teams are going to double on the wing, especially Saka. And this is one thing that I saw very obvious in this game. Saka was hardly doubled on because Gyökeres was engaging the centre halves, and Trossard on the left side was doing bits as well. Then Eze played in the 10 position and tried to do what Odegaard does. But the difference between him and Odegaard is that Eze was not planted just on the right side, the way him and Odegaard and Saka combines. Eze was drifting across the pitch. So he created space all around the pitch. Though Fulham tried to stay compact, but the way Arsenal was moving from one side of the pitch to the other side in swift and quick succession made it difficult for Fulham to really stay compact. Yes, Arsenal did not score goal, but they created chances. Gyökeres had 2 shots. I think one was the first and one was the second half. On a very good day, he probably would have scored one of those goals. And that was asked about him. I remember him saying that Gyökeres is not scoring goals, but there are things that he's doing that's benefiting the team, and eventually the goals will come. And honestly, Gyökeres will score goals for Arsenal. But so far, for now, he is doing stuff that is helping the team, which is engaging the centre halves of opposing teams and creating space for players like Saka. And when teams like Fulham did, they tried to double on Saka and also engage Gyökeres. He created space for players like Zubimendi, Declan Rice, and Trossard. And that takes me into Zubimendi. Zubimendi is in the core of this new Arsenal. I'm not going to go into that debate of whether he's better than the party, but they are two different players. He is not obsessed with possessing the ball to fit. He is more a player that likes transition, that lets the ball flow. One touch, sometimes he doesn't even have to control the ball. He extends the ball with his control to another player. And these are the little stuff that moves opponents around. You know, when the ball is not staying in one spot, opponents keep chasing, and he creates spaces all around the pitch. And this is the new thing that Arteta has done with this team that is making us now win games and difficult to play against, because the passes are quicker, the transition is better, there are more spaces for players to exploit, and it makes it more difficult for opponents as well to play against them. And Another thing is the shape of this Arsenal team. In the past, what California is doing now is what Zichenko used to do, but it was very predictable. Zichenko, we know what he does: come in and receive the ball like almost like a six and help us now hold possession. But California has been given the license. If there is need for you to invert, pick up the ball for the goalkeeper. And the next minute, you're seeing him overlapping from the wings. And another time, you're seeing him almost playing as a left eight. And this freedom, he had one thing is, first, he has the ability to do it. Secondly, gives opponents a lot of issues. And credit to Arteta for identifying that he has that ability. And don't forget the very bad goal that he scored. Man, just 1 inch offside. That would have been the goal of the season contender, honestly. And this tells you what this player is about. Saka, again, had a very good, I think it was man of the match for this one. Not one of his best games, but he did enough to trouble Fulham. Sessegnon is on a very good form right now, keeping Robinson on the bench, though he's injured again. But Saka had a good game and created a lot of problems for Fulham, an opportunity for us now to score the goal. Yeah, set piece again. We're not going to talk about this one and not mention set piece goal. Arsenal has now developed another means to scoring goals. You can say what you want to say, but set piece is part of the game. Until FIFA and UEFA or EPL remove corner kicks from football, you're not going to criticize Arsenal for using it because it's there available for any team to use. When days like this, it has amounted to 3 points for Arsenal, and they sit top of the table, 19 points after 8 games, possible 24 points, and they're looking stronger and stronger. One thing the last thing I want to mention is the mentality and the composure of this team, starting from their manager Arteta, who normally people are criticizing him for being overly emotional and reactionary on the line. But you can see some steadiness of emotion on Arteta, and as well, the players don't show any kind of panic. There's an understanding, and chemistry between these players. It shows that they have stayed together for a little bit. So let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think is the reason why Arsenal have found this new form? Now they have gone to they played 3 games that have been 3 teams have been a problem for them in the past 3 seasons. They've gone to Newcastle and won 2-1. They've gone to Fulham and won 1-0, and they also beat I think it was Crystal Palace was it Crystal Palace, the game they played before this game as well, and they're getting these wins. Is this the year for Arsenal? Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so, and I will see you again in the next one. Ciao.